are back for episode 2 of the TunedIn Podcast. I know some of you guys probably thought, nah, they won't be back. We're back. Mr. Kaiyan, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Aidan. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm good as can be, you know what I mean? I'm here. We're surviving. We're thriving. Hopefully one day killing the game. Not quite yet. We're building it. The stepping stones.
Definitely.
Anyway, let us crack on.
Yeah, speaking of stepping stones, it's been, 3 weeks since we actually recorded the first episode?
It has been 3 weeks. I mean, there's been some technical difficulties, which is funny. Do you remember we were saying about, imagine if everything corrupts at the end of the last one? It didn't quite corrupt, but there were issues, but we had to get around it.
What kind of issues did we have?
There were a few things, weren't there? Obviously, there were issues with editing and kind of getting it out in the first place. And then there was also, we wanted to make it as good as can be.
Of course.
I mean, I know some of you are probably still laughing at the edit saying, oh, what a noob. But we tried our best.
We are noobs, really.
Yeah, we put time and effort into it.
We both learned how to edit from the time we recorded the last one.
Yeah.
Now, really. So in 3 weeks, you've learned how to edit the long...
Yeah, I think I must have put like 12 hours into learning to edit.
It's not bad.
Yeah, only because now it's a skill.
Yeah,
it's a skill I
exactly.
can use.
Yeah, and then I don't actually know how many hours I spent, but been doing all the short videos.
Yeah, because you've been doing all the clips.
Yeah.
I mean, Ramsey behind the camera even said about how he enjoyed the clips with the
That's good.
edits.
I'm glad.
But hopefully it's onwards and upwards with the editing.
100%. No, it definitely will be.
100%.
Yeah, that's the new catchphrase.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, from my end, I was also dealing with a lot of the logistics and how we're gonna distribute it.
I'm running a business.
Yeah, it's getting there. Slowly and surely, but it's been really, really fun, and we both had some fun. We managed to see each other. We despite what I said last episode, did end up going to York.
Yes, you did end up going to York.
Yeah.
As much as you said, oh no, I'm not going to go to York, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
As soon as I was saying about the races and all the fun, the drinking, the games, guess who crumbled? Mr. Kaiyan Ali.
Well, to be fair, we were supposed to record an episode whilst we were in York.
Yeah, we bottled that, didn't we?
No,
Very slightly. It wasn't our fault, but...
No, we ordered some very dodgy microphones. And one came on the Friday when we were supposed to record, and one came the next day when we were at the races. So
imagine if we'd recorded the whole episode, because that's a good episode coming up. You'll find out a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've got 2 really exciting episodes planned that are going to be York-based.
But if we'd recorded that, had all the banter, all the kind of the flow of the podcast, and it was crap, like the way it came out, we'd be crying.
It would be a shame.
But it all worked out. So here we are. We're back again. But
hopefully, in at least 2 episodes' time, we'll have that episode out. So hopefully, episode 4 and 5 will be some pretty interesting episodes.
Yeah, a couple guests.
Yeah, first guests on.
A couple young professionals.
Yeah,
and some people with interesting experiences over the past few months, really, and their insights and perspectives, which I think some of you, which aren't particularly our catchment, will find quite engaging. So hopefully you can tune in once again to the TunedIn Podcast.
So what are we doing today?
What are we doing today? Today, it nearly escaped my mind. Today we're going to be touching on relationships, kind of dating and what have you. Something I myself are quite new to the game, whereas Kaiyan, on the other hand, has a completely different perspective to me. So Kaiyan's obviously a man with a lady, and I am a free willy, not like the whale. That sounds a bit mad.
Yeah,
but yeah. So you've got a completely different perspective to me, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll probably touch on your experiences a bit more. I feel like there's
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah,
yeah.
You've been the ugly in all the situations, but so yeah, let's talk about it. Do you want to get cracking?
Yeah. So, in terms of dating apps, what's kind of your insight? Because my insight is I love it. As you know.
Yep.
I do find it fun because realistically, why would I sit there twiddling my thumbs when I could be sliding left and right? Do you know what I mean? It's about efficiency in this world. But yeah, for me anyway, I love it. Literally, in my spare time, if I'm not working or twerking on the dance floor, I'm there. I'm a left and right type of guy. More right than left, sadly. As my mother knows, interestingly, from a slight incident, which involved paying for Tinder. Now, I paid for Tinder.
Wait, so you get paid for Tinder, or what? Repeat that, sorry?
No, so it's an interesting type of situation. I was in my bedroom, and I thought, you know what? I'm sick of getting to however many maximum swipes you can have and not being able to swipe anymore. So their incredible marketing decided to make me spend $3.99 a month to get unlimited swipes and a boost every month. Free promo for Tinder right now.
What's a boost?
So a boost is where you get, I think you get seen by like 1.5 times more people, something like that. But then, to my amusement and my shock, my mum then called up the stairs saying, "Aidan, have I just spent $3.99 on Tinder?" And I was like, "Mummy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mummy, but yes, I'll pay you every month." To this day, she hasn't had a penny for Tinder, and she still pays for my Tinder. But she is the best wing mother that anyone could ever imagine. So all due respect and so much love for you.
Has your dad ever opened a bank statement and asked any questions?
If he did, I think he'd just be like, "Oh, here he is again."
Okay, so
I don't think he'd be that surprised, only because of the conversations we've had at the dinner table.
That's good.
About different situations and what have you.
I think this is interesting. What is your relationship with your parents in terms of these kind of things? Do you speak to your parents openly? Do they know what you get up to? Do you want them to know? Do you ask them for advice?
So this is the interesting thing. Up until year 11 or so, I had no game. So I had nothing really to talk about. And then after the year 11 summer, out of nowhere, some would say I grew some balls. Other people would say I found myself. And from there, I slowly started going out more, kind of chatting to girls, those that would talk to me. And then I think because my mum had never heard much about it from me, I started spilling the beans slightly. And she was loving it. So now, at the end of any phone call I have with her, any girls, Aidan, and I'll say, "Oh, there was this one," or "There was another girl there," but that doesn't really happen. What about you? Are you similar, or I guess you've, as I said, different perspectives?
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to share, and I think when you're in a long-term relationship, my mum obviously has met my girlfriend quite often, spend quite a lot of time together.
Is that the first girlfriend your parents have met?
No, it's not. Second, like, proper one.
Really?
Yeah.
My mum or dad, neither of them have ever seen me bring a girl home.
It's pretty different though. Like I don't know if you'd want to, unless it's serious. Like, is it? It's quite a big thing, really.
I guess it is a big thing. But even my ex, I was with her for 9 months. And
Okay, yeah, that's
the closest she got to my family was a phone call with my nana.
Was that because of the situation and the lockdown and stuff?
I guess it was slightly
quite
to do
far
with
away
COVID.
from each other as well.
I guess it was slightly to do with COVID, but at the same time, just didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's weird, but then again, I didn't really go home either.
Yeah.
Remember, so I was in lockdown for the whole thing. But as much as I'm talking about Tinder a lot, I don't know if you know about Hinge.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so Hinge.
What's the difference?
It's a bit more insightful. So like you can do stuff like comments, voice notes, and kind of get to know people more. Now,
what kind of voice notes have you left?
see, I don't have one right now, but
Okay.
I was able to capitalise on it slightly, only because obviously we went to uni up north.
Yep.
And especially a Leeds girl, you know, a Leeds girl loves a southern accent.
Yep.
So when you get talking and you put a voice note in, they're like, "Oh my God, I love your accent," and you're like, "Oh, well, thank you. Don't make me blush."
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff like Hinge is obviously better for that. But I haven't got my mum to pay for my Hinge.
Taking the piss a little bit. What, 8? Would that be another $3.99?
No, once she sees this,
Yeah.
she might be like, "Aidan, fine, early Christmas present." But we'll see about it anyway. That's another thing. My parents are watching this.
Yeah.
So I have to be careful with certain things that I said. Hence why I said about the girls earlier. Only now and again does anything happen. But yeah.
Do you get much success on online dating then, or meeting girls online?
You're stitching me up slightly as to I know what you're going to ask coming up after this. This is like a Tinder Q&A right now.
I'm interested.
Yeah, no, I'd say the success is decent. I think in terms of actually meeting people for dates, never. But it's more talking to a girl and then you're both going to the same club. And then it's almost, here's your knife and fork. Wait till the club for dinner.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird metaphor, but I think that's the best way of describing it.
Yeah.
I think as well it was a good social aspect because if you went to a party, especially at uni, you might see someone you're like, "Oh wow, that's the girl of my dreams." You don't know her name, and then boom, 3 minutes later, you're on Tinder while you're sat outside because you've had no luck, and you see her, and you're like, that's her name. And then what are you going to do? I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to walk over and say, oh, hello, blah, blah. Just confidence. It's all about confidence.
Surely if you're confident, you'd approach her before and ask her name, rather than wait to find out and until you're a bit more drunk.
You got me there.
Yeah,
it's a weird one because I'd say there's two good approaches for approaching ladies. There's more of an introvert option or an extrovert option. Now let me set the scene. We're in a club. I'm with Kaiyan. Now Dancing Queen's come on, so Kaiyan's on the table swinging his shirt around like this.
definitely.
And I'm on my own, and I'm thinking, oh, what do I do now? So first of all, we're gonna go with the introvert approach.
Mhm.
You're gonna approach the bar, not the bra, the bar. The bar's for later. I'm joking. Anyway, you're gonna approach the bar. Now, you need to kind of show what you're on. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the barman or barwoman. I'd like 3 WKDs, slice and ice in a glass, because then they know what you're on. And after that, you're gonna look over at the target. Maybe not target, more of a prospective lover.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bit of a rough
So
analogy.
you're at the bar like this. Then you're gonna do a slight eyebrow raise and maybe an Elvis Presley lip. Just like that. Obviously, the people that can't see this, tune in on YouTube and you'll be able to see the ecstatic face in which attracts all the ladies. But yeah, something like that, because then she knows what you're on, do you know? So it's all about the things you do and then the confidence. And within a matter of time, they're going to be shaking at the legs coming over, like, oh, hello, who are you? And then on the other hand, the extrovert approach. Now, I don't know about the success of this. Try it. Obviously, don't hate me if it didn't work. But just approach them and say, excuse me. Now, emphasis on the way you speak. You could speak a bit like Boris Johnson, for instance. Excuse me. Did you fart? Because you blew me away. Now, that approach, once again, is extrovert, very confident, and it's going to thrive in a busy environment where you need to stand out. But that's my insightful different options of how to move to girls. Don't quote me on that or hate me, but Kaiyan asked, so I answered.
Sorry, I'm just a bit shocked with that. Have you used both of them approaches, or do you favour
No.
one? What do you go for?
No, hold on. How did you secure your girl? This is putting me under pressure. How did you secure your girl? Because you're the one who's actually with her in love, happy. Whereas me getting used on the weekend like I'm just meat.
So we were friends before, like quite good friends before.
Did you meet her at uni?
Yes.
First year?
Yeah, we were friends from first year. Nothing
Right.
happened in first year, and then naturally started going out more.
Mm.
Very good friends.
So I remember
One
you were
thing led to
saying.
another. That was it, really.
I remember you were saying in the
Without
last
going into too much
episode.
detail.
I remember you saying in the last episode about how you had the 2 girls that were in your flat,
Mhm.
and they're obviously best mates with her as well at uni.
Yeah, they were very good mates.
Did that kind of set it up, or was it
No,
separate to that?
so I would say with the house that I lived in, I was kind of the person that knew everyone and kind of brought them all together, sort of thing.
Right.
Because like I knew the boys.
Oh, did you bring the house together, and that's how you
Basically,
met?
yeah. So she lived with us in third year. She joined the house in third year.
Right.
So when she found out that she was going to join our house just before we were dating,
I see.
so we actually ended up living with each other in third year. Before we knew we were dating, she naturally started coming out with the house more, and then the girls started kind of meeting each other.
Yeah.
So they knew of each other before, but they kind of become closer friends from there.
Yeah, I think that planned out very well because you did have a very good house in terms of the people and obviously
Yeah.
the physical house
Yeah,
itself.
we did.
'Cause you had
quite lucky.
did you have a perfect balance of boys to girls?
So second year we had 3 boys, 3 girls,
Right.
and four boys, 2 girls. Got that wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, and then going into third year we had 4 boys and 3 girls.
So pretty balanced.
Yeah, definitely, and it was actually really good because naturally, girls tend to be cleaner than guys.
As you saw from our house.
Yeah, so going around a lot of the guys' house, you could definitely
Yeah.
see. I mean, I'm quite clean for a guy, I'd say, but having the girls in there was definitely a help. They'd be like, "We're cleaning the house now," and we didn't really get a choice. So,
And those girls
yeah.
as well, they're quite strong girls, aren't they?
Oh yeah, all 3 of them have very distinct
As
character.
much as
of
they're all
their
very
own.
little, they're very.
Yeah, they're very feisty.
See, that's where I personally feel like I slightly missed out. As much as our houses, second and third year, and of course first year, were sick, we did kind of miss the whole living half boys, half girls, and kind of whipping us into shape, because you saw how.
Yeah, your house was a shithole. I mean, it was. I stayed with you for a few days as well.
It wasn't that bad.
Mate, so
What?
their one shower basically didn't have a door on it. So when you shower, the water comes out onto the floor, which then goes onto the bath mat, which is supposed to be dry.
Completely Pat's fault, yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't matter whose fault it was. Was basically walking out into the shower, all nice and clean, into Shrek's swamp. And then I'd have to...
Do you know how Artie once described it? Artie once goes, "Oh yeah, I was cleaner going into the shower than out," which I think that's exaggeration. It really wasn't
I
that
felt
bad.
worried getting out of your shower.
Yeah, you have to wear sliders in the shower,
Yeah.
but it
And
doesn't
also-
sum us up as people,
And also, I stayed in your bedroom before you got there.
right?
And your bedroom was the first door as you walk into the main kind of house on the left. And you didn't tell me that if you close the door, it locks.
Oh no, I can't lie, that's just you being stupid.
No.
For a boy that does economics.
No, whose door actually locks? Like, as in, you need a key to reopen it. I haven't heard of a single person in my life. So I've got dressed, ready to go out. I've closed the door. And I'm like, oh crap! Let me just make sure I've got everything. So I go to open the door to check. The door's not opening. Obviously, as you do, you get a little bit stressed out because you're thinking, my whole life's in there. It was a graduation week, so we had I had my suit.
You had graduation the next day, didn't
Yeah,
you?
oh yeah, I needed my suit, which was in there. My parents were coming the next day, so I needed everything in there. And I was about to go out and try and enjoy myself. So naturally, I was a bit stressed out throughout the night. And you weren't, I don't think you had come down just yet, had you?
Where was I?
You were finishing work.
Working.
Yeah, you were coming that night, I think, or the next night.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I
'cause
think.
my graduation was on a Thursday, so this was a Wednesday that I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, I think I came on the Friday.
Yeah. So obviously I'm texting you just like, what is going on? Message your landlord, let us in. Anyway, end of the night, luckily I left the window open, and I had to climb through the window of your bedroom, which was a bit of a stretch.
That's lucky, because I never open that window, only because it leads onto a street.
Oh yeah, a very busy street.
So
So-
cheers for that, Kai. All my belongings, with the
There
window
was-
open
there
on the
was all my
street.
belongings I was scared of, which I needed, but it's better than getting because your door would have got smashed down otherwise, one way or another.
Yeah, that house was awful in terms
Yeah,
of.
it was.
This wasn't me, but this is bad. Like, this is really bad. But one of my housemates, this is how bad he got at the end. I remember one of the worst things I saw was I was sat in the living room and I look into the kitchen. He's just opened a pizza box, put the pizza in the oven, and taken the pizza box, opened the window, and just thrown it out into the garden. And I'm just sat there like, are you crazy? And he was just laughing. But yeah, it was just stupid stuff. Or like when he'd pour salt and there was no more, he didn't want any more salt on his food, just throw it in the air. Like this was pretty bad. It wasn't that bad, but
There's probably a standard
yeah, there were just
uni.
there were just certain aspects where it was a bit crazy.
I think because again, it's being stereotypical, but it is generally true. All boys' houses are not great.
Yeah, I mean our landlord.
Did you get all of your deposit back?
No
How much of it did you lose? As like a percentage?
percentage. I'm gonna say we lost just over 70% of it. Bearing in mind that's 4 people, and we all paid what, $350.
Steep.
So yeah, it wasn't a nice day, but I think we were being a bit optimistic, thinking it wasn't going to be a crazy figure.
Yeah,
It was.
I mean,
It was.
broken shower is already expensive.
Broken shower.
That's what yeah.
Some door was broken, but it was one of those very flimsy doors, so it was understandable.
Some uni landlords can try to kind of rob
Yeah,
you
but
for every penny
It
you
was,
have.
it was even stuff like the landlord had to come around a few times, and he charged us for that. So every time he came around, we paid £10 because it was under call outs.
Not even worth it.
Yeah, I mean, we were gonna write a message back, basically breaking it down as to reasoning and where we think we shouldn't have any money taken off us. But because we were all quite lazy and we were just like, oh, just leave it. We didn't do it. It's probably kind of stupid. But
Could have got a few months more of Tinder Premium.
yeah, true. I could have upped it actually to the £10 one where you get
£10 a month.
Yeah, well,
For
yeah, but you
what?
get to see who's liked you.
This game.
The amount. No, I'm telling. No, you. Oh, like, the cameraman behind us is even pulling up this type of face when you have to understand on those lonely, cold nights of winter when you're sat there feeling fragile, and you think, damn, I wish I could see who actually likes me in this world. There we are, £10 a month, but obviously that hasn't been done yet. We'll give it a little bit of time, and I might treat myself.
Even if you could see who was on the other end, my biggest issue with online dating, obviously having no experience, there's a lot of catfish or a lot of people that look one way online but don't look the same in real life, and this goes for boys and girls. This isn't a girl specific thing. Whether that's lots of makeup, lots of filter, again, boys and girls, different lighting and whatnot. Have you ever had an issue with that where you think you're meeting one person but you actually meet a completely different person?
There's been a couple people where I've matched them, spoken to them briefly, and then I've seen them out and about, and I've just purposely kind of swerved different ways so I'm not seen.
Swiping left.
Yeah, literally swiping left in reality. But as you know, I've had a worse issue.
I do know.
Haven't I?
You
That's
have to expand to the audience.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I didn't want to do this, I spoke to Kai and we thought, you know what? We do only live once, and this is a perfect platform to teach you guys, as the listeners, what not to do in this cruel, really harsh and cruel world. Now, anyway, cruel, once again, very cruel.
Well, stay safe out there.
Yeah, stay
Both
safe.
virtually and in real life.
Yeah. Now, let's move to a social media platform called Facebook. If there's any young listeners here, you might not know about it, but Facebook, it was kind of as anyone knows, just normal social media platform. And I was looking in my requested messages, and a very pretty girl from Hong Kong actually messaged me. Now, she messaged me saying, hi, and really nice to meet you. And I was like, oh, well, nice to meet you too, I guess. Like, when I say pretty girl, very pretty girl. So we're chatting away, and it comes to a point where basically she says, let's video chat. So I'm like, you know what? Why not? Only because we met a guy from South Africa recently, and he'd only just downloaded Snapchat because over there, that's apparently their main like kind of social media platform. So I was thinking, okay, maybe that's the norm there. So I stayed optimistic. Probably very naive of me. I mean, I think it's a learning curve, isn't it?
Hopefully you never repeat that mistake again.
Yeah, so anyway, we were video chatting. Things got a bit heated. And one thing led to another. We were video chatting. And out of nowhere, I then see that the screen's just been recorded for the past however long. And I'm thinking, that's actually pretty mean. Like right then, I'm kind of flabbergasted, as one would say. Only because I've never experienced anything like that before. And then I thought, oh, fuck, that's unfortunate. So I then get a load of messages basically saying, right, if you don't send me X amount of money, I'm going to post this all over YouTube, all over social media, and send it to your friends. Now, it wasn't the end of the world, only because I knew what it was, and it wasn't anything that deep. Only because of kind of my outlook on it. And it got to the point where I just said, you know what? Because she was saying stuff like, oh, I'm going to ruin your life, blah, blah, send me this much, or blah, blah, blah. I'm going to send it to your uni or family. Even though if they did, it, you know what I mean, it wouldn't be anything to kick off about. It would be more just about kind of personal sort of, what would it be kind of?
It would just be weird.
It would just be weird.
Really, really weird. Like that's,
so, yeah, so it got to that point, and it ended up with me basically saying, no, I'm not going to give you any money, goodbye. And then I blocked her. And by that point, she'd only sent it to one girl.
Who I was actually at the house with.
Yeah, who was actually my closest girlmate at uni.
Yeah.
Which worked out quite nicely. So obviously she then replied to her saying, and what? Which I think is a very good response.
Yeah.
I think psychologically, that's a very good response. Only because then they'll be
The master
thinking
plan was destroyed.
exactly. So I didn't send them the money, but I did think afterwards, especially because I mean I met you that night, didn't I?
Yeah, so I was with the girl that you're talking about, the friend, not the criminal,
not the criminal.
I was with her and her housemate because we're actually just saying bye because we're getting ready to leave uni pretty much for good. And she just said, Aidan's just messaged me. This has just happened. Do you think he's telling the truth?
Only because I am someone who likes to. I'm not a liar.
No,
but I do chat rubbish.
Yeah, it's for
Especially
comedic
when we're
purposes as well, like to make people laugh. And this made me laugh out loud when she first told me.
Because it's awful.
Yeah,
It's unheard of.
because I thought it was fake. Like when she told me, I said, "There is no way he's that stupid, and there's no way this is gonna happen." There's no way this.
I swear
could
I'm not
possibly
stupid.
No, that was honestly that was my response. And then I went, "Let me just message him and see what he's doing."
While I was lying in bed alone,
Yeah.
sad, not knowing where to look.
So I messaged him. I was like, "What are you doing right now? Are you all good?" And I think you replied, "I'm not that good right now." So I called you. I was like, "Everything right, mate?" And then you explained to me what happened. I was like, "Cool, I'm coming to pick you up." I jumped straight in the car, come and picked you up, brought you to the house, and obviously we kind of unfolded everything.
I mean, what were you saying about when you saw my face though?
Honestly, when I knew you were telling the truth as soon as I heard your voice, because you can tell everything by the way someone kind of speaks.
I think as well though, when he actually saw me, I felt like I looked vulnerable.
You looked like you saw a ghost or something. Like your face just completely dropped, and
Like the immediate nerves.
yeah, like it was like very nerve dropping. But yeah. So I think the moral of that story is, like I said earlier, be safe online. Don't do anything you wouldn't. I don't know. You wouldn't want to be seen publicly or
Exactly, but this is I think
people that you don't know anyway.
I think this is the kind of main moral, or not really moral, but the understanding of the story, with the fact of, I personally didn't cry about it or kind of panic and think, oh, I need to send money or any of this stuff. I kind of just sat back and thought, if it came to it, it's not the end of the world. But I know multiple people, especially those that do suffer from stuff like anxiety and kind of similar characteristics, that if that happened to them, they'd be contemplating what they're going to do next.
I think I would shit myself. And I'm quite a confident person, and I still think I would shit myself. Just because...
Yes.
just because of the fact that you can't call someone up and say, I'm going through this, you've gone through something similar, what should I do?
Because no one has. Like, this is the thing. So even Ramsey behind the camera, he's one of our close friends. He didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
You knew about it. The girls did. A couple of the other boys.
Yeah, the guy that was with me as well.
Most of the boys are going to pop up to me after this and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was...
and they're going to be asking for the ins and outs. Now, maybe if we have an explicit page one day,
maybe
we'll have the ins and outs. But for now, that's all you're getting. And I'm sure you can think as to what might have gone down.
So do you think you attract weird people? That's my question.
You saying I'm weird, Kai?
You can be. You have the tendencies. But is that like... no, it's like... suits your character, definitely. Like, because I've seen you approach girls by doing a zombie dance over to them.
Yeah. I mean,
I've seen...
Does
exactly
it work, though? Does it work?
I've seen you do exactly what you just did and walk away successful.
I think that it all depends on the person. I think for me, only because my kind of personality is kind of a bit weird and quirky.
You're confident about it though as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is also a big thing.
Yeah, I think people like strange, where it's not strange that you're weird. It's strange like, oh my god, he's a walking ick. Yeah, cool. But yeah, in terms of weird people, I mean, in the promotional video that you'll see that we recorded prior to this, I went through something very strange in the past week. I say strange. I've told two different parties about this. One group think, "Oh, that's so cute." The other think, "What the fuck?"
It was the first group of girls and the second group of
Both groups of girls.
Okay. Interesting.
So, what happened was on Wednesday on the commute to work, I got off the bus, thinking nothing of it. Another day in the office, and I'm walking towards the station. Same old day, you know, nothing out of the usual. And some bloke kind of stops. We're not stopped. We're still walking, but he kind of looks at me like that. And I'm like, hi. And he goes, obviously he's got a Northern Irish accent, so I'm going to attempt a Northern Irish accent. don't hate me. He was like, excuse me, I'd just like to tell you that you're absolutely beautiful. And
how old was this guy? Like, obviously
between 40 and
ballpark.
50.
Okay.
So that's crazy,
Yeah.
because that's doubling a bit my age.
Oh, yeah.
Quick maths again.
Could be a parent.
Yeah, literally could be my parent. And I think, I go to him, I'm like, cheers, mate, thanks. Walk off the other way. Now, the following day, I think nothing of it. Sat in the back of the bus, you know, thinking about life and all that crap. Anyway, I look down to the front of the bus. Again, guess who's there? My man. And at this point, I'm thinking, I don't want to do this again. Only because it's kind of uncomfortable. Only because do what you want in this world. Like who you like. For me personally, that's not my thing, what he's into. So I think, okay, we're going to let him walk forward a little bit. Just kind of let him get on with my day, and I'll get on with my day. And then he turns to the right. Obviously, I'm going to turn to the left because of how the cameras are. But anyway, he turns to me like that. And he goes, oh, it's you again. And I think, yeah. And he goes, do with this as you will, and hands me an envelope. Now I'm thinking, what the hell? An envelope? Like, this guy's... I hadn't read it at this point, but I'm thinking, like, if this is for me, he's gone home, bought a card, written it, come back the next day hoping he'd find me.
Have you ever seen this man on this commute before?
No, but after speaking to my mum and some other people, they were thinking, like, the people at work as well, they were thinking, what if he's been, like, watching you for a while?
Kind of like stalking you.
Like, I don't know. Only because stuff
That
like
is-
Jeffrey Dahmer's out right
Mate,
now,
that is
and
really
The Watcher and stuff like
That
that.
is so weird.
Anyway, I get to the station, I open it up, and it goes, basically, it sums up saying, I was so happy I was able to give you the compliment. You were so kind about it when I gave it to you. I love to make new friends. Here's my phone number. We should stay in contact. And I was wearing a cap, and on the other side of the envelope it said, the other side of the card, pardon, it says, P.S. I really liked your cap. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's a smiley face at the bottom, which after later, further, kind of, what's the word? Further
Contemplation.
Further analysis.
Okay.
It's a wink, not even a smiley face. So the gentleman's intentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it scared me only because someone at work even said, imagine if that was your sister. She's only a couple years younger.
Yeah.
But think about how messed up that would be, only because of the age range. That's 30, 40, like 30 years.
Mate, the fact that the guy obviously has seen you, like, you could just say he's been a nice person, and he's maybe he is trying to make friends, or making an effort to talk to people and whatnot. But if that is the case, and that's us being generous, there's better ways to do that. So
yeah. Would you do that to a girl?
No way.
Would you follow her and say, you're beautiful?
No
And the next
way.
day, here's a card.
No way.
Oh, Kai, thanks.
No way.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's just peculiar behaviour.
Yeah.
Rather bizarre, to say the least. But then there was the question of, do I text him? Now,
I mean, if we have the phone number,
we
I don't know,
do have the phone number.
do you
but
think
it's-
that would be a nice thing to do? Or I mean,
Thank you so much for the card. I'm so grateful.
yeah. 'cause
Want to
you
meet
know,
up? X?
Yeah, I mean, if you swing that way, then fair enough. But that might not give the best impression for you, because he might then take that as, oh, he wants more attention.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, even if we did it as a joke, I think for your sake, I don't think it's the best idea.
And it would just be strange because when I'm at work on Monday, I'll be getting on the same bus, seeing the same guy. I'll be like, "Oh, you liked my message?" And I'm like, "Please, no, it was my friend Kaiyan. Please."
Wait, so did you see him on a Wednesday? He gave you the card on Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
And then what happened on Friday then?
He wasn't on the bus.
Weird.
He disappeared. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So exactly, very fucking strange. I haven't
wouldn't
experienced
feel-
anything like that before.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable getting a bus anymore.
Do you think you attract weird people?
No, not really. I haven't had either of any story like the ones you just said. So
Lucky guy.
maybe I do, and I'm
Maybe.
maybe I. Well, I mean, me and you're doing a podcast together, so
Yeah, maybe.
bad luck might start swinging my way. Huh.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen? By the end of this podcast, we might be together.
That's not happening.
Unlucky to the girlfriend,
Yeah.
but every now and again comes along better. And sadly,
Grass is
might
always
be better.
greener.
yeah, grass is always greener.
No, it's not always greener. I
Oh right, grass isn't always greener apparently. So yeah, that's kind of the weird stories and the situations that's happened for me recently, and I don't think you should envy me for this because it's absolutely bizarre and weird and strange and crazy. But I'm here still.
Yeah, I mean, for now.
Yeah, well, that's what they said at work. They were like, "Oh, we weren't sure if you'd be in today." Only because it is scary. Because I haven't watched that Jeffrey Dahmer thing properly yet.
I haven't.
But I was watching it with my mate the night before, and the next day to see that and experience that, I was a bit like, "Okay, this is a bit crazy."
Have your iPhone location turned on?
Yeah, no.
Okay, you turn that on. Add your mum. Add your dad.
Yeah,
Add me
yeah.
if you
I
need
don't know. I just think it's bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably nothing. He is probably just some guy trying to get out there a bit more, but respectfully, probably hasn't done it the right way.
Yeah, I think he's also targeting the wrong people. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe you're giving off
30
the
years.
vibe.
30 years less is a bit mad.
Yeah. I mean,
But what would I know? I'm just a naive young lad.
trying to find his way in the world.
Exactly. That's just me.
So yeah. Interesting story. Should we go on to? Let's go back to the relationship side of things now, or the online dating side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Girls and guys like to talk about red flags. They like to talk about icks. They like to talk about turn-offs. I believe you've actually been referred to as a walking red flag before.
Not a walking red flag.
Oh,
I've been called a walking ick.
Okay, that's the one.
As I mentioned earlier, walking ick always coming. I think that's probably one of the best compliments you can have as a boy.
Why is that?
Because I guess it depends. It depends how the person says it. Because if they go, "Oh, you're such a walking ick, get away from me," you know what I mean? You might be a bit creepy and weird. But if it's, "Oh, you're such a walking ick," you know for a fact it's doing something. But I don't even see it. I don't see myself as being a walking ick. But I think, yeah, exactly. As long as I don't think it's the case.
My mummy says I look good
Yeah,
today.
my mummy says I'm not an ick. No. But I don't think I am personally. But I guess that there have been certain situations, like shout out to this girl. There was a girl. I walked into the club. She stood out massively. I was like, wow. You know, my heart skipped a beat.
Nice.
Anyway, I went up to her, and we were dancing. At first, I actually went over and said something. And she turned away from me, and I thought, oh, typical. Then she turned back, and out of nowhere, it was like the hand of God came through a crowd and kind of pulled me in. Then I got a bit too comfortable, and I started hitting the dabs like that over and over in the middle of the dance floor.
How old are you?
I was 20 at the time, so it's all right.
Oh, okay.
And obviously she was going, "Oh, you're such an ick," and all that rubbish. But I was successful. So who's the walking ick? Thank you. You know what I mean? Case closed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's my perspective on it. I think as well with icks and etc. What would you say your kind of biggest ick is if you were looking for a girl? For instance, your girlfriend. If she started doing something, what would?
I don't, off the top of my head anyway, I can't think of any. I'd say icks are probably more so like one thing or like an action more than like a personality trait or.
I think it can be a combination of both.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I can't think of any off the top of my head that would really, really stand out. Other than this is a bit of a mature answer, but it's a true answer. Is I wouldn't want to be with someone that lacks ambition or like a direction.
That's
and I don't mean like, oh, they want to make £100 million or whatever. Like, I just mean like they have an interest and a passion in something, and they're actively working to pursue that thing or that group of things. Because me myself, I'm quite an ambitious person, and I like to surround myself with similar sort of people. In that sense, yeah, walking icks.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, that would be my like biggest, I guess you could say, turn off or red flag in a relationship is. But I think if you're going to get into a serious relationship, you probably find that kind of stuff out before you kind of commit long term anyway. So yeah, for me, that would definitely be it.
I think sorry, I was just scratching myself. That's just weird. Basically,
ick.
I'd say mine kind of incorporates with yours slightly.
Okay.
Is kind of education, or not even necessarily. Oh, yeah, I'd say education. I think if I'm talking to a girl and I can tell straight off the bat she's not necessarily poorly educated, but her mindset was, you know, when you can tell certain girls like in school they definitely didn't kind of knuckle down or anything, or they just were naughty and stuff like that. Stuff like that to me is quite a big ick, only because I think it relates to my family and how everyone's very well educated within the family. So I think for me, I kind of reflect similar characteristics. And I think as well, if I brought a girl home to my parents, bear in mind that would be the first girl I brought home, and she was just a bit,
Like,
I'm going to say
all the
divvy,
lights
but
were
not
on.
divvy.
Yeah, I understand.
Like kind of just not as switched on, and you can tell like all those types of things anyway.
So does that have to be university educated? Is that what you mean?
Not even. It could be. She could, I don't know, go up to college, or even if she went up to year 11, for instance. If she went up to year 11 and did really well across the board, and you could tell she worked really hard, then she dropped out to do something else. Like, I don't know, if she wanted to pursue some sort of personal aspiration, and she made sure to kind of persevere and, as you said, get to the top of her game and really work hard to do so. I'll completely respect that, and I think anyone would. But it's more they drop out and then they're just kind of dossing about.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, I know people our age that are still dossing about and they haven't actually done anything yet, and that's how many years is that? That's like coming up to 4 years basically. In fact, that's 5 years since like year 11.
Yeah,
and some people just not kind of made any what's it called, progress. Yeah.
I'm not sort of, I don't care about being university educated or whatever at all, because it takes a completely different kind of understanding, skill set to do all these different things. And
Some just don't know about it.
Yeah,
or maybe some of their family, most or none of their family, for instance, have ever gone to uni, and then it's completely understandable.
I mean, even we kind of spoke about it last episode. Like a lot of, I'd say pretty much 80% of what I got out of uni wasn't education wise. It was life skill wise. It was more practical skills wise, I guess you could say. It was actually becoming. People used to say this to me before I went to uni, and I thought it was absolute bullshit when they said it to me.
Right.
And they said that basically going to university is about maturing and developing as a person. And at 18, you think you know everything. And I did anyway. I don't know, like most people, And I thought, I'm very mature. And to be fair, I was mature for my age, but still,
I wasn't.
Yeah, but still, when I look at myself from then to now, there's definitely similarities in how I was then. But the understanding that I could literally, well, this might sound silly, but I could literally completely look after myself. Whereas I come from a family that was very much, had a lot of people looking after me.
Yeah.
Like I had quite a big and strong family unit, luckily. And like I had pretty much everything done for me, but I'd still learnt them skills along the way whilst I was kind of living at home and whatnot. And I think I was able to translate them really well. You know, living with other people, it's a lot harder than people think it is. You know, people think that living with your friends and living with people is always going to be fun and dandy, but you do have struggles. Like, I feel like that's why you even have struggles with siblings and your parents.
Yeah.
I think me moving away, I actually had a stronger relationship with my sisters and my parents.
Yeah, so would I.
Because you don't see them as much. So when you do see them, it's like quality time, I guess you could say, or it's like an occasion. Like when I'd see my family, I'd be like, oh, I'm going home for the weekend, or they're coming up to see me for the weekend, or it's so-and-so's birthday or whatnot. Whereas when you're always on top of each other, it can get quite overwhelming.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for those that are watching that maybe want to go to university, you need to make really smart decisions in the around Christmas period of first year. Because obviously you want to get a nice house, but more importantly, you need to make sure you're with people that you know for a fact you can live with and be happy with. Because there's been so many households where maybe a couple of them live upstairs, a couple of them live downstairs. They don't talk at all. They hate each other, and it's just such a horrible environment to be in. Even when you go and visit them, you feel awkward when you're there.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine what it's like to actually live there.
Yeah.
So yeah, just make those smart decisions, which I think we did really well.
I mean, my house definitely had some problems, but like,
what would you say the main problems are?
I mean, ours were like really weird problems. Like it was maybe something that had gone unspoken and then grew into something bigger than it shouldn't have done.
Right.
And I think like with everything, which is probably something I'm starting to learn more, is if you're just honest and straight to the point from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like if you've got an issue with something or someone or whatever it is, it's best off you just say it straight away, and then you can kind of get over it and get on with it. And it's almost like ripping the plaster off, in a sense.
Excuse me?
So like, do you know the saying about ripping the plaster off?
No.
It's like, rather than slowly peeling the plaster off and hurting constantly, you just rip it off, and it'll hurt a lot to begin with, but it's quick and done. It's like, something's happened, I'm annoyed about it, this is why, let's get over it now together. This is in relationships, friendships, family, apologise, get on with it, you're friends again. Otherwise, this is what happened in my house anyway. Things go unsaid, and then you kind of build into snowballs into something that shouldn't have happened, and then it is unpleasant for everyone. But luckily, my situation was small in hindsight, and I'm still best friends with every single person that I lived with. Like, I haven't, like, we've only been away from uni for a few months, but a house,
I had a
yeah,
burp.
it's fine.
Hold on.
Yeah, like, I love every single one of them, and they're all going to be definitely friends for life.
Yeah, I think mine was different. Obviously, we were 4 boys. We were so close. So we almost consulted each other with everything. So we always knew what was going on. So
That's good.
I'd say the only issues that ever occurred really were to do with people not cleaning up. But by the end of it, those that were pointing fingers at first were actually the worst ones, Artie, weren't they? Mr. Throw the pizza box out the window.
Can't beat them, you join them.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not sure about that one.
Can't beat them, you become the leader.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to talk about, and I'm sure you'll know people that have had different kind of experiences, where some being bad, some being very, very good. Because I think it is that. It's either awful or very, very good. It's not really in between.
And I think there's periods. And again, I don't like always saying because of the lockdowns, but genuinely because of the lockdowns, you were on top of each other, and where some people had different opinions on how things should be done. It's a lot harder to just go and get some fresh air and get your mind off things and then come back and kind of talk about it or whatever, because there's so much tension around something that's out of your control.
Yeah,
but I was just gonna say, like, yeah, like, I think that tension was kind of a one-off period, and like I said, when you actually just sit down and talk about everything, and you take other people's kind of opinions and feelings in consideration, it's all good.
Yeah, I think that's very true. But for us, it just made us closer.
Yeah, that's good.
It just made us closer. I don't really remember any negatives, to be fair. I think the only negatives that only came from the house were external, so actually like girlfriends and stuff like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, definitely cool.
Yeah, I mean, with that, actually, now that you mention that, sadly, 2 of my closest friends, they live in Dubai.
Right.
So during the lockdown periods, they weren't even in the country.
Yeah.
So
It's be hard.
It was really hard because we just started getting really, really close, and then disappeared, and then it was quite a few months. Come back. Obviously, we're still just as good because we're still talking and FaceTime.
Things changed though.
Yeah, but they came back to us all being friends. Like that group that we kind of mentioned last episode, really starting to form and get together. And of course, they come straight into the group because they were friends with everyone beforehand anyway. But it was weird. But also at the same time, they didn't miss that much because Dubai, obviously, crazy place anyway. But there was pretty much no restrictions in Dubai.
Ramsey, weren't you one of the boys? You lived in Dubai.
Yeah, shout out Rambo at the back of the cameras.
Big Ram busy. But yeah.
But then, like, with me anyway, I had 2 empty rooms that I could have other people stay with and host other people. Not the same, not ideal, but they do.
This is not associated with this at all, but if you can hear in the background, it's because there's apparently you can't hear it, but there's a studio next door as well where people are, remixing and that.
Making some bangers, to be fair.
Yeah. I'll have to cook something up with them for an intro. Because I heard some negative comments about the intro music. I think because it was very non-copyright. No, is it non-copyright music?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could actually post it. Because obviously, if we were able to, we'd be jamming to Lil Baby, a little bit close friends. Started off as close friends.
We keep throwing more shots at 4P though.
Yeah, shout out the 4, man. But yeah, actually, to be fair, I forgot to mention this. In terms of the last episode, did you get any feedback?
Oh yeah, really, really good. So thank you, genuinely thank you, both of us.
On guard.
Yeah, we really appreciate all the feedback and the support. We had so much positive support. We have, I think, about a week since we posted the first episode.
Yeah,
we've got about 650 views on YouTube,
which is good because that means people are literally sitting down and watching it. I think for me anyway, it was seeing groups of our mates across the country as well, sat in their living rooms, cooking dinner, eating dinner with us on the TV, and we were thinking like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was pretty.
That's
cool.
us. That's me, mom.
That was pretty cool. And like, one of our TikToks has got over 10,000 views and about 300 likes. But yeah, we had some
some negative feedback.
Some negative feedback.
It was funny though. I was crying.
Yeah, I mean, at first, I was saying this to you. At first, I was a bit. It did hit me a little bit because it was like, you hear from kind of big online personalities that the negative comments can kind of get to you, and I was like, this is the first bit of negativity that I've ever kind of received in this kind of light, and the fact that it was from someone I hadn't known at all, and it wasn't really constructive.
No, I think you're coming from a boxing perspective as well.
What do you mean by that?
Because, for instance, if you were in a club and someone came up to you with this negative energy, what would you do, Mr. Kaiyan Ali? Because I know what you would do.
I would say that's
shout out Ziggy's Friday.
I would say that's not very nice. Why did you say that?
And then what would you do, Mr. Kaiyan Ali?
Civilized conversation about it and move on with my life.
And then you'd pick him up by the throat and lift him into the sky like this with his legs, like, hey, put me down. And then I'd have to be like, Kai, come on now. Then
this is all blasphemy. Firstly,
I'm joking.
This is but yeah. So, but
it's
honestly,
all a lie.
Yeah, honestly, like our first Instagram reel, where the little intro I cooked up.
It's just under 14k now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's
at least 7k from me and 7k from you. Rewatching.
Yeah, you have to understand that that's more than half our uni population.
Yeah, that's crazy actually. So I mean, obviously we don't want to get like, it's just the start. Like this the first episode, there was definitely a lot that we could work on. And there is a lot we're going to work on, but between us, we're only going to get better at speaking, at the production value of these, at the conversation topics as we go on. And we just want to actually make something that once a week people can actually tune in to the TunedIn podcast.
Tune in, baby.
And really actually sit down for 45 minutes, an hour, and have something to enjoy.
I think as much as we started with the stepping stones, we can finish with the stepping stones in terms of, this is literally us right now, kind of, I guess we're building a name for ourselves where people can relate to us. And then because of this, it's going to allow those interesting people, those people with unique perspectives, to then be like, okay, I can chat to them. I know for a fact I'll feel comfortable chatting to them. And then after that, then you guys will tune in further because you'll think, okay, they're talking to these interesting people, which is what we kind of promised at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's hard at first because people are like, why would I come on your podcast?
100%.
Because you've got 10 people following and you get -8 likes. Like
even like, that's why I'm saying like massive thank you to everyone, because even taking an hour out of your day, or even if you listen to 10 minutes of it, like, we understand that we're taking people's most valuable resources in their time, and they're giving it to us. Like, they're giving their time and attention.
CEO diaries over here.
But it's true though. They're giving their time and their attention. Like, think about everything you do because it's going to get like gain or benefit in you, benefit you in some way. So them people, because we did expand past just our friend group as well. Like, we must have, for that many kind of views and interactions, for people to actually enjoy what we did. And for me anyway, looking back at it, I definitely am a big critique of myself. But like looking at it and thinking, that could have been improved. That was a bit rubbish. Why did I say that? Why am I sitting like that? But of course, we're obviously our own biggest critics. Other than the 2 haters on our TikTok, of course.
Yeah.
If we
shout
can,
out you guys.
If we can, Aidan, post credits.
I'm not gonna lie though.
Get a little beef.
This was the only thing. As much as it's horrible because we're the victims. if I was seeing a TikTok post, for instance, and I saw a similar comment, and I saw that comment, I can't lie, I would laugh. I would laugh only because shout out to you guys because that was fucking funny.
Yeah, no.
But allow it. Come on.
Well, I sat there firstly and laughed out loud, and then I was like, "That's a bit big."
Me, I don't know how to take this.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to take this, and then I messaged one of my other closest friends, who like I talk to a lot about loads of different stuff, and he was like, "Fuck that! The fact that you're getting haters already is a good sign." The fact that that guy is taking
they
time
hate
out
us because they ain't us. You dig?
Yeah, and it's like the fact that we're you're always gonna have haters, and do you know what? Let them carry on hating as long as they viewed it, they commented. I don't think we should give them the clout of their username though, but we're definitely gonna put the comments in.
Yeah, we'll try and chuck them in. I'm sure it'll make you guys giggle. At us being the victims.
But yeah, so I mean, thank you again so much to everyone. Thank you for tuning in for episode 2. Like and subscribe to our YouTube because that's our favourite platform because you get to see our beautiful faces as well, and me mainly sitting awkward. Tune in on Spotify for all you what was it that did you say? You commuters and runners.
Oh yeah, all you commuters, runners, and multitaskers.
That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's for you Spotify heads. Yeah, follow us on Instagram at tuned.in.podcast.
Yeah, TunedIn Podcast divided by dots.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, every Monday, 7 p.m. Hopefully, this is right. Don't quote me on this, but maybe next week we'll potentially have someone on.
Hopefully.
Potentially.
If not the week after, for sure.
If not, we'll have some saucy topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the week afterwards because we've got some stuff going on in York.
Yep.
Maybe there's talks of maybe an event.
Potentially.
Very, very early stage, but maybe something.
We're cooking something up already.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So anyway, once again, do we hold hands again?
No, I think we should.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in to the TunedIn Podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Wow.
Bosh.